Hey pros, Crystal here from Elite Hair Care USA. So today we are going to be doing some highlights on my client who is fully relaxed. You guys probably you won't recognize the back of her head, but she is actually one of my clients that we filmed before. We actually did a corrective cut on her a little over, if not a year ago, maybe even longer than that. Her hair has grown out where her cut was like way up here. So that should tell you guys that she's come a very long way. So today we are going to help emphasize her look by adding some highlights to her crown. This is also something that you guys can do whenever you are slightly bored with your hair. You feel like you need a change. This is also a great way to mask silver streaks as they're coming in. It helps to blend them in. And it just helps to give you some depth or dimension in your hair. So we're going to go ahead and do the highlight service, and I am going to let you guys watch, and then we'll finish out together. All right, so anytime I get to do any form of like highlighting or balayage or anything, I get super excited because that is my love. I love to do things that allow me to be creative. So I started in the crown, right at the crown, and then we're going to work our way up. So instead of us doing a full head of highlights, what I recommend for people who've never had highlights is to start in just the crown only. That's going to give you the idea of if you're able to care for your hair as well as it needs to be. Remember, I always say that color is a luxury service, okay? So I am actually using a lightener that has a little bit of pigmentation in it. And when I was folding back my foil, I noticed that I managed to be too heavy-handed and got some lightener on her hair. So what you do, if that ever happens and you're in a salon, you can spray a little bit of leave-in conditioner, or you can even use your bottle of water. The goal is to saturate that lightener and then remove it from the hair, and that's really all. So I wanted to give her a lot of dimension, but because I know that we are number one blending and number two she has fine textured hair, chunky highlights are going to give the appearance that her hair is even finer. Smaller highlights give the appearance that she has a lot of density in her hair. So what I did was very small. I'm not going to say very small, like baby lights, but these were a lot smaller in size on purpose because she has fine textured hair. And I wanted it to look like her entire head was highlighted, even though it was not. So that is just a little trick or pro tip for those of you who are hairstylists and you offer lightening services or highlights. So I also did 2 foils on either side of the top/crown of her head, mainly because I wanted to give her some coverage over the areas where I know she'd be parting her hair, or if the breeze blows, those highlights will kind of reveal themselves. There's really no right or wrong way for placement of highlights. It's really all in the creativity of the stylist, and also in the size of the highlights. That's going to make a huge difference in how your hair styles and how obvious the highlights are or how subtle they are. For her, she wanted them to be very noticeable. We were going for a nice blonde hue. So I kind of just went crazy and gave her, I would say roughly about 7 to 8, maybe 9 foils. And, I just made them nice and small so that also when her grays come in, if she has any, they will blend with her highlights. And that's also a big thing because a lot of people don't know that you can get highlights if you gray quickly, and that gives the appearance that you don't have so much gray. And it kind of dulls or hides the gray a little bit more. And that's just another little pro tip or trick that you can use. So once I apply the last foil, at this point, because I'm working with relaxed hair, this is when I start checking my previous foils. So highlighting is definitely something you have to do with speed, because by the time you finish the last foil, you're already almost completed with the processing. But I saw that she had a lot of yellow going on, so I went ahead and allowed her to process a little bit more. Now, when I shampooed her, I did use some violet color shampoo to help remove any additional yellowing that was left behind. That is also called toning. And then we went ahead and finished out her shampoo, and I blow dried her after she kind of air dried under the dryer. Remember, highlights are fragile, so you want to use the least amount of heat as possible. And then I'm going to spray a little bit of Goddess Polish on her to serve as the heat protectant. Because her hair is slightly fine in texture, I didn't want to apply any frizz tamer to her hair because it's going to weigh her hair down. So I used the Goddess Polish in place of the frizz tamer as the heat protectant and also as a shine spray. I did spray a little bit of Sebastian Shaper on her hair to help seal the cuticle as I was flat ironing her. And I'm also using the 1-inch H2 Pro Black Diamond flat iron. We would not be using any form of titanium on her hair, specifically because number one, she's relaxed. Number two, she's fine textured. And number three, she has those new pretty highlights. So if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please don't forget to also thumbs up this video. And I always ask you guys to give me your thoughts at the end of the video on how you like the style, the highlights, or whatever it is that we did to her hair today. Now, she has been coming to me for a while, as I said at the beginning of the video, and her hair has grown out. We've cut it again. It's grown out. So she has really gone in a different direction with her hair. Her hair is in a very good place. I would have never thought that we would be able to do highlights when she first came to me. So the fact that we have gotten to highlights now means that we've made a lot of progress, and she's very consistent with her hair care. So that's another thing that I always recommend, is ensuring that you are consistent with your hair care, no matter if you plan on getting highlights or you plan on never curling your hair at all. But consistency is definitely key when it comes on to caring for your hair and getting your hair to the healthiest state that's possible. So once we finished flat ironing her for style, I went ahead and started to kind of smooth out her hairline. Another pro tip when you're getting highlights, you guys, is she got her relaxer about 2 to maybe 3 weeks ago. And then we did her highlights the next service. The reason why we did that is because you cannot relax over highlighted hair. So if you're going to get highlights and you're relaxed, you definitely want to ensure that you get it almost right after your relaxer within that 2-week period. So then you have another 4 to 6 weeks of allowing new growth to come in, and you can stay on your relaxer schedule. When we do her relaxer, we are definitely going to be super careful because you cannot overlap relaxer onto highlights. It will literally eat the highlights away along with the hair. Relaxer and highlights are not best friends. They are not supposed to actually touch each other when you're doing the relaxer process. And that's also the reason why we did her relaxer first, highlights after. All right, you guys. So I did go and I saw a couple of flyaways, so I cleaned it up a little bit. And now she is completely styled. Look at those highlights. Oh my gosh, they are beautiful. So now when she starts to get her grays, they will just blend right in before we get to our regular color service. And she doesn't have to worry about any outstanding gray revealing itself because the highlights are gonna just over dominate. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I said before, please don't forget to thumbs up and comment. For a list of all the products used, please go down into the description box. All products are available at EliteHairCareUSA.com.